Hey guys, welcome back to our podcast. I'm here with Anjali, who is a cognitive behavioral therapist, and she suffered from PCOS. And I actually met Anjali, I think it's going back, a year and a half, 2 years?
Yeah.
So I actually met Anjali at Lazy Me Out as a client, and you actually applied for the PCOS membership, I remember. And you came in and we had our initial consultation.
Mm-hmm.
So guys, if you join the PCOS membership, you will have a consultation with me. This is not a medical diagnostic consultation. It's just about talking about your experience with PCOS and just getting to know you better. Right?
Yeah, definitely.
So today's podcast is just Anjali talking about her experience having PCOS, and I'll let you start. So when did you actually get diagnosed with it?
To be honest, I didn't really feel I had it growing up. And then as soon as I turned 13, got my first period, and I was regular for a year. And again, I didn't really get any other symptoms. They were really, really painful, and I just thought that was normal.
Yeah.
And after a year, I then didn't have a period for 11 months. And then that's when I thought, okay, there's something not right here.
And that's when you were 14, right?
Yeah, 14, 15,
so
around
14,
that time.
15, you didn't have a period for a year and you're thinking, what's going on?
Yeah, and then I got so many other symptoms like the hair growth, got really chunky sideburns.
Where did you notice it the most? Like for me, it was honestly my moustache.
Yes, my moustache, I would have to get threaded, waxed, get hair removal, use all the creams. My moustache was like, I call it extravagant.
Mine was like a carpet.
Yeah, and I would have to do that every week, which was not fun. But being at school, if I missed it for a week, I'd just sit there and like cover my face.
Really?
Yeah, especially in classrooms.
That's
just
a lot for a child.
Yeah, super conscious. My legs were really, really like, being Asian, we're more hairy, I know, but my legs especially were really, really hairy. And I remember I went into school, I think I was in year 7, so I just turned 12, 13, around that age, maybe year 7 or year 8. I went into school without having shaved because I just thought, I'll just wear my skirt, my uniform, I'll be fine. And actually that was one of the worst days of like my school life because as children are, they can comment, they can make you feel really, really conscious. But for me, it was my periods. When my periods stopped, I just freaked out, told my mum. And
what did your mum say actually?
My mum, so my mum went through a lot when she was growing up as well. She was more hairy as well, and got a lot of symptoms. And I think she's gone pretty much her whole life undiagnosed with PCOS.
It's only really coming out now if you think about it.
Yeah, I think
people are actually starting to understand what PCOS was.
Yeah.
I started like PCOS awareness in this membership a long time ago. We're talking about 4 or 5 years ago with my previous clinic. And honestly, women did not know. When I said, do you know what PCOS is? Like, what is that? But now when you say the term, at least people know it straight away, right?
When I say polycystic ovary syndrome, a lot of like healthcare professionals, they're like, oh yeah, okay, we've heard about that. But yeah, that was my experience. And I told my mum, and then we went to the GP. Going to be so honest here, I think my experiences with the GP at that time, I'm 32 now, so we're talking basically over 15 years ago. I don't think they necessarily understand that yes, it's a hormonal condition, but I think there was a lot of misunderstanding of, okay, we're just going to put you on the pill.
That's the problem. They just put you on the pill straight away.
And they think, right,
that's the
what
solution.
Drug can I prescribe to you to make all the symptoms go away, I guess. So that was my experience. And my mum is much more of the holistic approach. So we tried to go down the route of not taking medication. But I was also told I was really overweight. So I grew up thinking I'm much larger than what I was at that time. And I look back now, which hindsight is a great thing, but I look back now and I really wasn't overweight. I was curvy, and I've always been curvy, and I embraced that. But I just had it in my mind from like GPs and other medical health professionals that my BMI was really overweight. And I think hearing that at such a young age, it really does impact you.
But also hearing that and not getting the support.
Yes.
I think what happens is you get given all this information when you're at the GP, because the same thing happened to me at 15. They were like, do you want to go on the pill? I was like, definitely not. you know, the fact for me, anything down there at that age was like a no-no.
Yeah.
So I was like, no, definitely not. But
same.
also they just, and then that's it. There's no other support. It's not like, okay, by the way, if you want to have nutritionist appointment to talk about how to eat healthy, this is, here's the support for you. Or if you want to talk about fitness or how to lose weight or how to manage how you're feeling, there was none of that.
There's no support.
And of course we didn't get that from our parents, because our parents didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, I mean, my mum was really supportive in the sense that she did the best she could, I think, with whatever she was experiencing. So I started to go for regular waxing. I went to electrolysis, which my pain threshold is really low. But I used to numb my whole face, and just they told me, well, my electrolysis lady said, your sideburns will always be there. And I think laser at that time wasn't really something that was as accessible as now, because it was much more expensive. But there was also a lot of misinformation around laser at that time, like it causes cancer, which we know now that it doesn't.
You'll be surprised, we still get DM guys of people saying does it cause cancer, and no, it does not. It's FDA approved, and there is no links to long-term studies that laser hair removal causes cancer. Yeah,
but back at that time, I think it was a lot different in terms of all that misinformation. So I had electrolysis for a very long time, and it did reduce, but it was just always there because it's hormonal.
Sometimes you can actually have PCOS without any symptoms. You can be a silent one.
So you don't have to have like the excessive hair growth. I think the main symptom, I would say, for me personally, was my periods were so heavy when they did arrive. I would be bedbound. I remember at uni, I would literally not be able to move. I didn't attend uni at that time. My mood fluctuations were horrendous. And then I did go on the pill.
How did you find that? So what age did you go on the pill? Okay.
When I was 23. And the way it was explained to me was, oh, you'll take this pill and you will get a period. So it's going to regulate your cycle.
That's a fake period, right?
Yes. And I didn't understand that at that time, because I thought, right, great, I'm getting this bleed, and, you know, things are good. And up until that time, to be honest, even throughout my teenage years, yes, I had excessive hair growth, but I didn't get any of the other symptoms apart from really heavy periods. And my cycle was more regulated. I say that as...
What, with the pill?
Yes. But then I did find I got more symptoms. So I got...
like more weight, right?
Yeah, my weight gain.
That's the one thing I hear all the time with taking the pill, is that the weight just...
Especially when you come off the pill, it's kind of like a truck has hit you in a sense. Yeah, because as soon as I came off the pill, my periods were so painful. So I was bedbound again, and I felt like everything was unmanageable. Like my moods would be really bad. I would, you know, like curse at my friends, like, why are you breathing so loudly, and like really small things that...
Irritable.
Yeah, wouldn't really, on a daily basis, I'm really chilled out, I'm a really chilled person. But at that time, I was getting so aggravated, I was feeling really angry all the time, for no reason whatsoever, like nothing, you know, it could be a completely normal day. But as soon as I was off the pill, I just felt like my hormones are screaming, like what is happening. But I did find when I came off the pill, I started to gain a lot more weight.
There is a big correlation, I think, in my opinion, between stress, not eating well, not exercising. So when it comes to PCOS, you've got so many different factors. It's not just one. And in my opinion, the way I reversed it and the way I got my control back, and I've actually had scans now, and it's so amazing to see how the whole, like, you know, follicles that there were so many when you have PCOS. Now I have like absolutely everything's normal, which is amazing.
Nice,
and
amazing.
In my opinion, look, I'm not a doctor. I'm not giving anyone advice. I'm talking about from my own experience. For me, you have to take control of a few factors in your life. And that is, nutrition is a big one. You know, us growing up in an Asian household, now, again, I don't speak for everyone, but listen, I was given chicken nuggets when I was young. I was flipping given chicken nuggets and carbs and rice. There was hardly any vegetables or like reasoning about this is protein, this is how much you should have, or don't have sweets. I used to have a lot of sugar.
Yeah.
Now sugar, in my opinion, everyone that I speak to with PCOS, let me ask you something. What did you have yesterday for dessert?
I'm not gonna lie, I had a bit of ice cream.
There you go, right? So everyone has sugar in their life, and of course you are gonna have sugar nowadays, and it's really hard to come off it. But there is a big link between PCOS and sugar.
100%.
And that insulin resistance.
Yes, and I think also with age as well. I think age is a really big thing that no one tells you about. Like, you could go through your teenage years and not have symptoms, and then as soon as you're like 25,
everything
or 30,
goes downhill, guys, after 30.
Yes,
everything
I agree
goes
with
downhill for women.
Honestly, I was doing so well up until 30. Hit 30, and I feel like, I know I'm only 32, so I'm still very young, but I don't know, my hormones are like, wow, you've hit 30. Let's see what else is going on.
Once you hit 30, you're actually heading premenopause.
Yes.
You're actually in that premenopause phase. And this is what people don't realize, right? Which is, yes, we're living longer and, you know, we're thinking about careers. So everything when it comes to fertility and having kids gets pushed back later. But listen, your body keeps account. Your body has a clock. And unfortunately, that clock is not going to change anytime soon. Maybe in the future they will, but we're still aging. And when you hit 30s, that's the premenopausal. And nutrition is so important.
So important.
What you put in your body and how you nurture it is such a big key. And again, it goes down to sugar, but also high fats, high protein. But again, to your point, nowadays there's so many trends. You've got like ketosis, you've got the intermittent fasting, you've got this. And you know, that will just cause someone even more stress. So when you're like, to your point, you know, you're trying to figure out a solution, you see all of this content around you and you've got all these people saying, do this, do that. And actually it's just about finding what works for you. The main thing is exercise, stop eating that much sugar, eat high protein, and that's it. However way you want to do it, do it.
Yeah, I think PCOS is really difficult from a medical perspective because everyone is so different and everyone's journey with it is different. But there are fundamentals, like you said, like high protein breakfasts. I'll be really honest, over the last couple of years, it got to a point where I did actually think, do I have disordered eating? And I probably did because I was waking up and...
What were you having, to be honest?
I was skipping breakfast, which is like the worst thing to do for PCOS because your insulin spikes. But also I was having a lot of carbs and not balancing it. So I've really come to understand that nutrition is probably one of the most important parts of managing PCOS. Yes, stress levels as well, but also, nutrition, just making sure that you're having those high protein meals in whatever shape that looks like, even if it is keto, even if it is whatever lifestyle you want. But it's hard because you go online and you go on like Instagram or Twitter or
there's just
X,
too much out there.
And there's so much out there that this person's like, oh, this worked for me and you shouldn't have this at this time and you shouldn't eat, you know, after 7 p.m. or you need to eat like 6 times a day.
I think it's about what works, getting the most education as you can around the subject. And then just experimenting and see what works for you. It's simple as that, I think. 'Cause to your point, everyone's different. But now let's talk about how Lazy Me Out changed the whole journey for you, because it's going to sound really funny to a lot of people to say that, oh my God, lazy hair removal really changed my life, and you know, with the whole PCOS, it completely changed like my confidence. But there's some real truth to it.
Definitely.
So you came for a consultation with me.
Yes, I think it was last November or December. And I think at that time my mindset,
you were pretty bad, you were really down. You were like struggling with your confidence. And I was like, right, I need to help you. I was like, I need to get this one out.
I remember we had a really, really good consultation. I felt from the get-go, to be honest, as soon as I sat down, I did feel really nervous. I felt, because I've had a lot of different experiences with laser clinics, not so good experiences, but as soon as I sat down with you, I really felt like, one, I'd known you for ages, even though I just met you. I really felt like there was a lot of warmth, there was a lot of understanding, there was no judgment, there was no like, oh my gosh, like, you know, you have this and this, or you know, you have this excessive hair growth. I've had a lot of comments in the past from other healthcare professionals around that, but yeah, I found that consultation really it was quite empowering, to be honest. And I know it sounds so cliche to say laser did change my life, but actually if I look back to this past year alone, I've gained so much confidence in not wearing makeup.
Your whole aura's changed. You're not wearing any makeup right now and your skin looks phenomenal.
Yeah, feeling confident with my skin, feeling confident with my whole body, because I have full body laser, and just my confidence has grown so much to the fact where I don't really care anymore. Like, this is me.
Yeah, exactly.
This is
and I remember in the consultation, it wasn't about, yes, we talked about your previous issues, but it was more about solution.
Yes.
Like, I am so solution driven. You know, for me, it's like, yes, okay, this is what's happened in the past. That's fine. We can't change that.
Right.
But what we can change is what you're about to do
what
next.
we're going to do next.
And that's why for me, it was just about drilling that nutrition was really important, getting the awareness about, you know, like your fitness, but also, you know, when you get a new hairstyle, for example, how much does it change your whole day? You're like, oh my God, I can take over the world.
You feel
and laser is the same, right? Having a look at in the morning to your face in the mirror and seeing that there's no hair or your skin's now cleared up, that changes everything.
Yeah, definitely. And I found even from like the first session, I remember I texted the clinic thinking something was wrong because my whole body was itchy, but it was because I hadn't had full body laser before. So some areas were definitely more, probably a bit more sensitive because my skin's quite sensitive, but it was completely normal. And even all my interactions with the clinic have been so kind, understanding. There's never any judgment. And I think when you do have something like polycystic ovary syndrome, you are more conscious and you're more aware of your body, probably at all times. And it's always in the back of your mind, but going through like laser, having full body laser has really changed that for me. I'm not so caught up on, oh my gosh, I have like one hair here, or, you know, I have a bit of chin hair. To be honest, I don't really get any more hair.
You are part of the PCOS membership that we have. And I think it's great to sort of encourage other people to join it. Not only for the fact that they're getting full body laser, but we as a company are also starting monthly events as well. To bring people together. Because I think what is so important is people who have this should be together to talk about their experiences, because then you can relate, right? And it's like what you said, like when you sat down with me, you thought I was understanding, and the reason why I was understanding is because I've been through something like this. And I think it's really important for us women to get together and to empower each other, whether that's us doing like fitness events, because a lot of other women that I've spoken to who've got PCOS are so scared to enter the gym or any gym class. They're like, there's no way I have the confidence to do it. But that could change if you're with a group of women.
Teenagers, even in my 20s actually, it was very isolating. You feel like you're alone. You're not alone. There are so many women that have polycystic ovary syndrome, and probably so many undiagnosed.
But there's just not that many women that talk about it. Everyone just
issue.
Pretends like their life's perfect, and this is why there needs to be more people that can talk about issues, so women don't feel alone. So guys, Laser Me Out is holding their first PCOS event on the 26th of October at 12 p.m. in our flagship store. We're going to have guest speakers like a doctor and a nutritionist coming in just to talk about, from the medical stance point of view, how their tips could help you manage PCOS. And it's going to be so interesting to get women sitting down together to actually see what questions they have as well.
I think that's really important.
Big point on PCOS is fertility.
Yes.
So I get this a lot, which is, what do I do about my fertility issues? Can I have a baby? Will I ever be able to have a baby? Should I freeze my eggs? Or what you know, treatment can I get just to check if everything is all right? What's my AMH level? And you know, all of those things. Have you ever thought about your fertility having PCOS?
Yes, I think that's one thing that when you get diagnosed, well, my experience was when I got diagnosed, they immediately said, oh, but you know, come back when you want to have children. You're not married yet. Obviously, I was a teenager, but you know, you're not serious about having a family. So come back at that time, and it just creates that misconception that because I have PCOS, I'm not going to be able to have children. And sometimes there is a little bit of truth in that, but it's dependent on that individual.
I totally agree.
Get that, but I think it's so harmful to hear that at the age of
Yeah,
15,
it just causes
16.
extra anxiety and stress around the situation that you don't even need to think about.
Because even though you're so young at that age, it's something that as soon as you hear those words, it's always going to stay with you. It's always going to be at the back of your mind. And I've actually grown up having so much anxiety, just generalized anxiety around. Yeah, I definitely want to have kids. I think there needs to be more understanding around. Just because I have this condition, it doesn't mean that it's going to negatively impact. It might be harder and there might be different hurdles, sure, but I don't think it should be, oh, this person has PCOS, therefore she can never have kids. I think that's a really harmful way to put it, especially when you're newly diagnosed and you're trying to figure out what it means.
Would you ever freeze your eggs? Because obviously this is a big topic.
So I would, if that was the path that I had to go down. But I want to be in my best health to do that. So I've sort of put a plan in place to really help manage my symptoms, whether that's nutrition, fitness, managing stress levels, putting me first. I'm trying to look at the positives more than the negatives, but it is really hard. It's a daily battle, I'd say.
I'm so happy that, you know, Lazy Mia has clients like yourself who have come here today, taken your time out, which is so precious, to actually come and speak on this podcast about your experience, which can be quite, you know, that's giving you, you're kind of being vulnerable in some ways, you know? But it's so empowering to your point earlier on, which is you are having other women that can relate to you. And this ties back into our PCOS membership, which that's exactly what we're doing. You know, we're trying to get women together who have suffered or are going through this, or even women who have overcome it. So they can also give their advice to other people. And it would be great to see you at the PCOS event. And I'm also looking forward to seeing all of you guys as well who want to attend. And be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel.